You okay? Snuggled in? Snuggled in for the next 45 minutes or so. Oh, it's a relief when I see that green light go on, which means we're streaming, we're live. Well, I hope we are. Are we, Joe? Are we live? Yeah. Oh, we changed the setup today. Look, I'm stood up because it's Saturday night, so I wanted to play some vibey stuff, and I can't really play that. Well, I could, but I don't really want to be sat down when I'm playing these kind of tunes. So now I'm worried about you as always. I'm a bit concerned that you might have done all the jigsaws and drunk all the whiskey by now. Oh, Joe's had a tough day because it would have been haircut day. So he's in mourning about that. And also the co-op have completely sold out of Doritos. So just trying to think of some good news. No, good news is we're all still here. We're still smiling. Isolating like good uns. So I want to start with a Bob Marley tune. Hoping you're going to be singing along, swaying along, doing the dances in the kitchen, the living room. And you'll see why I chose it when we get to the middle bit, I think. Anyway, it'll all become clear. No woman, no cry. I heard you. I think I did. That's my boys in the laptop again. John Ellis, Manchester boy, the business, and the Hammond organ. And Errol Roberts on the drums, Marky Creswell on the guitar again, and Stevie Williams on the bass. I recorded that a long time ago. So, I really hope you're doing good. And so really rousing that second chorus, the shout, everything is going to be all right, and it is, you know. Another reason, we got through a whole show yesterday without mentioning porridge. Did you notice? But there's a line in the second half of that. And let me just bring the lyrics up about porridge. Yeah, I can remember it. And I cook cornmeal porridge. So when I'm playing that, I played it with passion. I didn't have any porridge this morning. It was the first time for a long time. Because the hens have been good. So I had scrambled eggs. I felt a little bit weird not having my porridge for breakfast though. Apparently, I heard through the hen vine, lots of people are after chickens. Yeah, you can understand that now. And same as people are after seeds. And I heard this terrible thing. The chicken keepers, chicken suppliers, chicken breeders, whatever you call them, they're having to be pretty careful, you know, because you always got to be careful of who you sell animals to, live things. And somebody phoned up one of them and they said, I'm just one thing that, you know, before I come to get it, could you tell me how you get the eggs out? It's a bit worrying, isn't it? I'm getting lots of lovely messages. I got a message from Colin up in Snod's Edge today, saying keep up the good work and that kind of thing. Colin's got he's a sax player, great sax player, baritone player, and he's got massive hands, and I think that could explain the copious amount of typos in his emails. It was great today because, you know, I'm Snake and Sally's in the office and in the house, and he said the introduction was keep up the good work, Snadgy, and then when he closed off, he said, give my best to Salky. So I love both of those. I think we're now Snadgy and Salky. That's really good. I like it. Snods. So I was mentioning, I don't know, yesterday or the day before, about the whole thing, the way that we work as musicians. We're often isolated from each other anyway. We often work remotely. I got a track from Jeremy in Bradford today. We do a bit of stuff together. Oh, we've finished off 2 lovely tracks last year and kicking things to and fro between us. I've never met him. He's my mate, my musical buddy. I've never met him. Strange, innit? And picked out a track to do because I want to play some, as I was saying, I want to play some bouncy things tonight and some things for the youngsters. And then we'll have a real mellow one, a real mellow show tomorrow. Real peaceful one. Got a message from Joe that the singing was quiet. You weren't meant to hear my singing. I was just sort of guiding you. You were doing the singing, weren't you? Yeah, we're all right, Joe. We're all right, honestly. Chill out. Put a beer in the fridge. And so I wanted to do a tune called Jubel for you, which is the artist is called Klingande, but at the time, 6 or 7 years ago, I don't know how time has flown, but there's a couple of young producers based in Paris, and they came across a bunch of my sax melodies and phrases, and weaved them beautifully into this piece of music, which became a really big hit, and it still gets played, especially in holiday resorts. And that I still regularly get WhatsApps from mates who are on holiday complaining, saying, "Flipping heck, Snakey, I'm all the way over in the Algarve, and you're still here. Can't you give it a rest?" Or a lot of ski resorts as well play this tune, and so it was already a hit. It was already on the radio everywhere before I met the boys, Cedric and Edgar, and went over to France and did a couple of shows with them. That was a lot of fun, and I can't remember where the first one was, but the second one was in how do you pronounce it? Val d'Isère, posh skiing resort. I got a day's skiing out of it as well. Oh, I hadn't skied for 20 years. I thought I was going to be completely useless, but I was only a bit useless. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, we'll give you Jubel. We'll give you Jubel. Are you dancing?
Save me, save me, save me.
I must be unfit. What are you guys doing to keep fit? Maybe we'll talk about that a bit more later. I'm sure pretty soon we're going to get told no walkies. That's my biggest. No, it's not my biggest fear, of course. I'm just being silly, but it is possible. So, thinking of more and more ways to keep fit in the home. There's a good bit on Weekend Woman's Hour. Did you hear that? Just towards the end, if you want to listen back. That was good. For the over 50s, I do fall into that bracket. YouTube have got these weird algorithms and computers keeping an eye on everything that happens, and it's quite a strange system. You can't seem to buy a license to play cover versions, so it's quite likely that this show will disappear because I'm playing quite a few covers, and I think it's called a strike or a hit. I think 3 of them and you're off the air, but we'll see what happens. So if you want to listen to anything again, I suppose the point is listen pretty quickly before it completely disappears. One disappeared the other day, but Joe managed to resurrect it with a bit of wizardry. Well, I think he cut the offending song out. So it's just a by the by. I was still here. What was it? 7:20, and the green light is still on. Is it moving everything around today? The camera is worse than ever. Honestly, it's now held up by the same as before, rubber band and some sticky tape. But also, I'm ashamed to say it's got bits of string on it now as well. So I was talking to Joe today, and he said, I said if we keep this going, maybe we could get a bit more professional about it. I can't remember how he phrased it, but that's what he meant. And he said we could have one of those red lights at the back that says on air. Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Actually, I've just had another message from him, and he said it's quite possible that they may just cut us halfway, in which case if I suddenly disappear, I'll hope to get back by the same time tomorrow. And for you sax players, 11 o'clock in the morning there's saxophone workshop. Maybe we'll talk about bending and vibrato again, bending notes, and not doing touching in toes to keep fit. Bending the notes, vibrato, and maybe get into a bit of growling. All that kind of stuff. And a bit of question and answer, and there's a few questions that have come in offline that I need to answer for you. That's 11 in the morning, and then the show at 7 in the evening. I think we'll be all right, Joe, because I think Joe's just particularly worried because that's more young person's music, so he's actually heard that, whereas all these other things, he's only 16, he's never heard them. Well, he may have, but he's ignored them. So I want to dedicate Jubal to Will and to Letty and to Joe and to Esme and to Ivana and to Ethan and to Ginny and to Lewis and to Beth. Guess what? They're all young people. 3 of them are my children. The rest are my adopted flock. Well, I'm nervous now in case we get taken down. It's like a hook will come and pull me off. Well, I'm going to have a quick look, see who's with me, if anybody, and then pick another tune. Oh, great. Oh, Ethan, you enjoyed that. Good boy. William Coulson has requested a Fuji sighting. That would be... Oh, he says, I've played that. No, I haven't played it on this before. He said, any chance of my other fave, Shiro Sunset? I think you got those 2 tunes the wrong way around, because I've actually played Shiro Sunset twice. It's the only thing I've played twice. But I haven't played Fuji Sighting Not Rising. But I'll forgive your retitling of my song. I could do another one called Fuji Rising. That's great. So another night, well, we'll try that. Tonight I'm going to keep it all bouncy. And Richard Lyon is wishing Carol and Ken a happy golden wedding anniversary. Yeah, we talked. The last one was the birthday edition, wasn't it? And we were talking about the sadness of us being separated from loved ones, not being able to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries and things like that. So I was glad to be able to do that for you. And we had a happy birthday, and it was Nikki's birthday, and 2 nights, 2 days ago. And as soon as the show ended, we dashed down and we made a circle in the middle of the road, all keeping 2 meters plus apart. And she came out, and Steve brought a cake out with the candles, and she said, "Oh, at least I'll be able to cut the cake and then put it down there, and you can come and get a piece one by one." And then she went like this, and she went, "Oh dear, you won't be able to eat any of my cake." So I'm not sure if she did that on purpose, Nikki. She's a canny lass. No, I'm sure she didn't. Oh, that's good. Charlotte's loving it. And there's millions of you. Just worked out how to scroll. Celia Wood is going good with a glass of red. Danny's dancing around the lounge. I did get your message, but I'm a bit behind. Midge is there again. Been looking forward to it. Richard and Anne, fantastic. The Surfing Surveyor. You are new. Who are you? Chris Adams, thank you for that lovely comment that you made. Judy Bridge, she's a regular now. Marmalade Girl. Lewis Tyler, thanks. Ron the Blind Guy's back. Sue Chan, Paul Davis, Christine McManus. Sue Dibbon's back again. Oh, I got my regulars now. This is amazing, fantastic. You're all welcome. Glenn O'Hara is another regular. Tony Robertson. Have you tried playing Rain Down on Me by Huge Groove? No, but I'll give it a listen. Oh yeah, Joe's missing me because I should have been in Havant tonight. Oh yeah, Alex down the road, he's just reminded me that I got a good memory, man. That I borrowed his ski gear when I went down to Val d'Isère. Is that how you say it? I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but you know what I mean. Posh ski resort in France. I borrowed his ski gear. Oh, that was a lot of fun. And Alex is my drinking buddy, and I can't. But maybe we could have a pint 2 meters apart, couldn't we? No, we couldn't. I know. Got to be sensible. Well, you don't have to be sensible, but you have to be separate. We're never sensible. We're musicians. Aye. Simon Goulding's back. Judith Nicholson. Right, another tune before we get struck. What was I going to do? I've got a set list tonight. How posh is that? Or I shouldn't say this, because we're supposed to make it look easy and just swan through it. But I'm kind of glad I've got Jubel behind me because it's really hard. What happened was, not to go into too much technical detail, but he used some phrases and melodies from that I played on the tenor sax, and then some that I played on the alto sax, which is higher. And they merged them fine. It was lovely, but obviously you can't do that live. So I opted to play on the tenor, which means I've got to go really high, and some of those notes can go horribly wrong if you haven't got a fair wind behind you, and especially because I didn't have any porridge this morning. What a mistake that could have been, but got through it. And that makes it hard for other players. I've seen people, except that they all opt to play it on the higher one. It does make it easier, but I don't know. You miss that husky roughness. Oh well, 6 1/2 dozen. So I absolutely love a bit of Otis Redding. I'm sure you do as well. So it's the same team. Errol, John, Marky Creswell, and Stevie Williams. Got Hard to Handle in the box. Get your dancing shoes on. Just a sec. Yeah, Joe, we'll have to start, forget when we get professional about it and get rid of the string and the sticky tape. We could have a commercial break, and I could have a proper sip of tea and get my breath back. Just kidding. I'm concerned about how we're going to all stay fit in our houses, and it's very important, because we've got more time for eating and drinking, so we need to balance it out with a bit of exercise. So I've already directed you to Woman's Hour. There's some good stuff on the NHS site, NHS Choices, is it? They got some good stuff. Podcasts about keeping fit, Oop, nearly lost my headphones. Pilates, you can. A lot of teachers doing it online now, and I'm sure yoga and all that kind of thing as well. So, no excuse. As musicians, we're often banged up in hotel rooms for months on end. So, I've got a little kind of body weight routine that I can do in space about that size. Nothing fancy, crunches and flipping the bridge and squats and all that sort of stuff. And the plank. How long can you do the plank for? Can imagine there's a few cheeky comments out there at that one. Well, I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to lower the tone. And I don't want you thinking that I live in a rock star mansion or anything, because I don't. I live in quite a small, modest home up here in North Lincolnshire, but I'm really lucky to have a big, long back garden, which is the reason that we bought the house, so that we could put this studio down the bottom of the garden. I am at present in the bottom of the garden, and the house is down there, about 100 yards or something. But property's cheap up here in North Links. So we've worked out that, or I worked out, because you have a step thing on your phone, don't you? If you come up to the studio in the morning, you forget your keys, which I usually do, then you go back, you get your keys, you come up again, and then you open up and you think, I better just go and feed the hens. So that's halfway back to the house, so you go and do that. And then you think, before I start, I'll just go and get a cup of tea. So then you're back to the house. So really, you've done nearly a mile by then. Yeah. So I suppose I can do that. But not everybody's got a garden, especially if you're in a big city, because they don't have them anymore, do they? So I'll give it some more thought. And I think I might have my... You really don't need to know this. I was thinking I might have my body weight routine written down somewhere, so if you let me know offline. I'll send it to you. Yeah, right. Nobody's going to do that. But a few press-ups, a few sit-ups, a few stretches is better than nothing. I know what Craig is saying. Yeah, I stretch out from my glass. Naughty boys. It's a tune that I recorded, I don't know, I lose track of time, probably 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago, with some of my super musician buddies, Mr. Paul Birchall, who's over there in Chorley, and Neil Fairclough, I hope he's safely isolated at home, and Brian Hargreaves, probably the Spy, Gareth Moulton was on guitar. Anyway, I wrote this one with Paul, and we call it Refuge. Where is it? There it is. Refuge. I like that word. I'm not good at titles. I'm pretty sure Paul came up with that. Spoke to him yesterday. Mr. Paul Birchall, I'm sure a bunch of you know him. He's doing good. Isolating well over in Chorley. Ian Stewart's watching. We're collecting them. Got a few of the village people. That's brilliant. And let me see who else is out. I'll just put the tenor sax down. Fiona's back. Oh, Dragonfly and Harlem Stroll, both great ideas. Harlem Stroll, that's another Birchie one. Good thoughts for another evening. Let's hope we can keep this thing rolling. Paul Hallam's loving the music, but he's not so sure about the exercise regimes. Sorry about that. I knew there'd be no takers. Kim Keats, fantastic. New people. Andy Britton's back. Remembering Hard to Handle in Pizza Express in Birmingham. Lindsay, Ron. Ron saying, what's my preferred sax? And this is a question I get asked quite a bit, because I've played 4 of them for you, haven't I? The 4 most common ones. Actually, tonight I've only played tenor, but you've had little baby sax, and the alto is usually out. It's not out tonight. I'm going to play the baritone if I can summon up the courage. And I absolutely love them all. It's that question. It's the desert island thing. You're allowed to take one to your desert island. And I would take the tenor, Ron. The one I've been playing mostly tonight. And I think that's the sound that I had in my head when I took up the saxophone. It's the soul. It's the soul man's horn, really. Junior Walker, King Curtis, they're my absolute favourites. The soul boys. And I didn't get any guidance or speak to anybody who knew anything about sax before. I just hitchhiked I lived in Yorkshire at the time, hitchhiked down to London to get one. And having saved up my dosh, and I walked into the shop, and they all looked so big in there, in real life. Like footballers do when you go to a live match. Much bigger than on the telly. And it looked so big, I bought an alto. Because the tenor, I thought, I don't know, maybe I thought I wouldn't be able to have enough puff for the tenor. I don't know what I thought, but anyway, it took me another year to save up my pennies with my odd jobs and everything to go and buy the tenor. But yeah, tenor's number 1, but only by a little bit. Thank you, Sue and Steve, for your generosity. Feel free to chuck money at me. Rotten fruit. Bowls of porridge. Advice. I'm staying. Who else is here? Cub's there again. Jacob. Tuba and sax after isolation. Bring it on. Chris Holmes is back again. Sax bandits are with me. Fantastic. These are just little pockets of groups of saxophone players that get together and obviously have a great time, because how couldn't you? Not only playing sax, but being together with other sax players. It's a dream come true. Great. You're welcome, you sax bandits, you. Annie's back. Sue and... I missed that one. It's gone. Alex is up for a remote drink. It's a good idea. Hope the beer police are not out. No, I'm not encouraging that. We would stay a long way away and drink separate drinks, but just be able to see each other. That'd be good. Because we're social people, aren't we? I'm glad they changed it from social distancing to physical distancing. That's a big difference. I mean, we're managing to stay together because things like this and social media and WhatsApp and FaceTime, and I've never been so glad of it, being able to stay in touch. It's so valuable, and long may the internet last. And keep saying to Joe, let's keep doing it every day because we may lose it. So I'm here twice tomorrow, but the 11 o'clock one is a sax clinic workshop question and answer, and then back at 7 o'clock tomorrow night for the peaceful show. Now I'm working on an isolation blues. I wonder how many other musicians are around the world. Flipping millions of them. But I haven't got very far yet, but because everything takes time. But I'm going to pick the baritone up and just improvise my way around a 12-bar blues, which is kind of the staple, the background to rock and roll, rhythm and blues, and so much of the jazz and soul that we play. So I've no idea what I'm going to play, really. I'll but I'll be in the key of F. I think I've got a baritone behind me. Just need to be careful not to lose the headphones. So eventually the isolation blues is going to have some words and everything. It sort of came to me. I was on my bike going to the co-op to look for Doritos. Tunes come to you at the most inconvenient of times. Quite often when you're trying to get to sleep. And for me, I suppose it makes sense, when you're out on your bike or you're in the hills walking, you get that sense of freedom and you're relaxed really, depending whether you're going uphill or not. And that's when inspiration strikes. So I did stop, get off my bike and sing some phrases into my phone, which is often how things start. So... The isolation blues. Well, what may become the isolation blues? Liz and Ron, man, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And put the baritone down. I think it's very, very heavy. I've got a question offline about the saxes, another question about who makes them. And I think I was telling some of you the other day about, I showed a picture of Mr. and Mrs. Yanagasawa, but I think it was the early morning show yesterday, so a lot of you might have still been in your pyjamas, having morning coffee and forgot about me. Anyway, the saxes are made in just in the north of Tokyo by a family-run company called Yanagasawa, and they're all really beautiful. Let me see if I can show you the baritone. I mean, I know you can see it, but I want you to see it more closely. So it's got snakies on it, and and lovely design. And the design was actually done by Heather in North Yorkshire, and then sent over to Tokyo for the engraving man to do his stuff with. And they're beautiful instruments. But more importantly, when I play in Tokyo, which is quite often, often Mr. and Mrs. Yanagisawa will come to the show, well, because I invite them, and they bring me biscuits and little treats, occasionally a sake. So I'll put this down, pick the tenor up, and maybe give you one for the road. I've really loved having your company again. And Joe's sorting out your techie issues, but even I understand that in order to join in with the chat, the messages, you need to have a YouTube account, which is free and easy to set up. And then to get the reminders that I'm going to be streaming, you need to subscribe to my account, which is apparently a good thing. Apparently it's a good thing to have lots of subscribers, Joe told me. I think he thinks I might be a proper YouTuber one day, but I don't think I will, because I'll never get 3 screens. Sue and David with Millie the cat. Oh, there's loads of you out there. Alright, are there any questions I need to answer before I go? Oh, Chris has mentioned the Central Station in Leeds, and it was the most epic gig ever. Lovely pub, but it was a pub, just a pub, and didn't really have a stage or anything. Or did it have a small stage? And with Dave Bowie Jr., who I mentioned, and Mark Creswell, who we've been busking along with today, we had this band called Snake Davis's Alligator Shoes, which actually just revived recently. And it was a crazy scene. I think we did every Monday night. It was £1, and it was absolutely rammed. And it was Dave and Betty ran it, and they were absolutely lovely, and they didn't mind at all that the stiletto heels wrecked their seats because everybody was standing up dancing. And it's Mark Creswell's birthday today. Happy birthday, Marky, and I'm sorry you're not with the whole family, but hopefully you've got them on FaceTime and all that kind of thing. So thank you, everybody. Take care of each other. We'll have a quick, what should we have? Let's have a tequila. And I want you all clapping, and just make sure you're not spilling the drinks, and do the shout with me, and then I'll say goodbye before we go. We didn't get shot off air. That's great. Happy days. Woo! Aye! Oh, a rousing finish. You've been fantastic, honestly. Stay in touch. It's a lot of the shows you can still watch back. Maybe this one not if we get struck off as Joe fears. But anyway, what the hell. To have your company's been brilliant. Look after each other. Be kind. And soon this will all be a memory. And just hoping there'll be good bits as well as bad bits. So take care of yourselves, and I'm just looking again. Matt from Sheffield. He's going to be as good as me one day. All this isolating, you'll probably be as good as me by Tuesday. That's from Unknown Man. Shout out for Matt. That's Matt. Thanks, Joe. Thank you, everybody. Sorry if I've missed you. You can always contact us offline. And another quick plug for the CD. With a bit of luck, it's out next week. Time stands still. Tomorrow we'll have a really peaceful, gentle, floaty show. And I might sit down again. I'll have had my porridge. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure to spend an hour with you. Stop.